Hello. Well, it's a dark and stormy night here, unlike my usual recording, so I hope this one turns out okay. But in a way, I think it's appropriate for the next rune that we're dealing with, and that is Thurisaz. There's Thurisaz right there. And the Thurisaz rune is a rune that some people associate with as a difficult or a problematic rune. Some people would say a bad rune, but see, I don't think that there are bad runes as such. There are runes that are very straightforward. There are runes that are very simple. There are runes that are easy. There are runes that are problematic, and then there's runes that are more problematic. And so we see a progression in the first three runes, in Fei, Uruz, and Thurisaz, where each one is progressively a little bit more complicated than the last. It tells you you're going through a difficult situation. In fact, you can kind of interpret it as a part of that motion from the Well of Weird, right? That you start out with Feihu, right? And you're going up, you're moving, you're getting up in the world, things are going well. And then with Uruz, you get to a kind of a U-turn, literally, right? Things become difficult and you have to learn how to move with it, how to flow with it, to adjust. And then while you're toughing it out, on top of it all, you hit a thorn, Thurisaz. Thorn is one of the interpretations of what Thurisaz means. And another term, a literal term for Thurisaz, is giant. And so it's something, I think it's something from beneath the earth. It's something primordial. It's something very powerful that you can't really overcome by effort, right? It's one of those proto-runes that before they were ever part of the runic alphabet, you see this symbol of Thurisaz, this image, is depicted in cave walls that are some of them 17,000 years old or more. And so it's something that's been with humanity for a very long time. And what we can say about Thurisaz, about the thorn rune, first, it's noteworthy that it represents a letter that we don't have in the English alphabet. In spite of it being for a sound that is very common in the English alphabet, we use TH an enormous amount. Thurisaz is the TH letter, and yet we've chosen not to have it. And I mean, we don't have an SH either. We don't have a lot of these kind of compounds that in some other languages might become their own letter. Here we've decided to keep them separate, but it's still an interesting detail, that it's maybe like this feeling that we don't want those two letters to combine and have their own, and go off into their own direction, right? Thurisaz has been traditionally thought of as a phallic rune for obvious reasons, but it's not really a very proper phallic rune. In one description, what you hear about Thurisaz, and keeping in mind that context of it being phallic, is that it's twisted like a horn, right? So it implies something not really, a fully developed phallic form, the fully developed energy of the ideal man, let's say, or something like that. It's not the symbol of so much of a godly force, but of a more bestial force, of something more primitive. And in fact, the force is something you can describe Thurisaz as. If you think of it as a rune or as a tusk, like something that you could end up running into and getting jabbed with, or something that if you have in front of you can make other people get jabbed with, right? You could put a tusk in front of a shield, and so if somebody charges at you, they're going to get impaled on the tusk, right? They're going to get impaled on the thorn. And in fact, the Thurisaz rune was used, one of its main uses was as a ward against enemies, to protect. So there you see this dual characteristic, that the thorn rune, the Thurisaz rune, protects and it harms. And it's particularly said to be harmful for women. And I think that, again, because everything about the Thurisaz rune is a very primordial, primitive, we're not talking about an Olympian god, we're talking about a titan, one of these deformed children of Gaia, one of these creatures that is animal-like. It's reminiscent of Pan. It's something that is very bestial, and it breaks up the ground, but it can also till the soil. Right? You can use the tusk to cut into the earth. And so the Thurisaz rune, in terms of advancement, represents the point where an obstacle is reached, and only a reconnection with that deepest part of yourself, that animal part of yourself. You can see that it emerges, the Thurisaz rune, from the well of weird, and it goes up, but then it has this circular, not circular, right, but rather this route that it takes, where it ends up just breaking off, but then coming right back in again. And so it goes nowhere in that sense. It's a trap, right? And to progress out of that and beyond to the top, you need to turn that force away from being something that blocks you and into something that serves you. So this is not unlike a confrontation of the inner beast, of chaos, of the shadow side, of the goetic demons, that you have to bind it and then make it into a force that serves you, that protects, rather than that harms and acts as an obstacle to you. Thank you very much.